am absolutely determined and focused to finally lose the weight, get back into shape so you can feel better, have the confidence that you want, regain that energy, like all the good things. But halfway through the first dang workout, you start thinking like, oh, I'm either gonna vomit or pass out or maybe just quit my fitness goals altogether. Or maybe you've been told, like many of my clients in the past, that there's only one kind of workout that you should be doing to reach your goals. And the thought of that kind of workout just fills you with dread. If this sounds familiar, I absolutely get it. You're in the right place. I'm going to talk with you today about what kinds of workouts, the level of intensity that you need, and we're going to dispel all kinds of myths and misnomers. Now, the thing of it is my first year as a personal trainer, which was quite a few years back in 2005, I worked for a company that was kind of obsessed about setting up the brutal, unsustainable workouts designed to make clients think that they couldn't do it without a trainer. And I get the business aspect of that, but it pretty much felt pretty gross, as you might imagine. The truth is that you don't have to kill yourself in the gym to lose fat and get in shape. What you actually need is a sustainable workout program that fits your life, not workouts that you dread or feel absolutely wrecked by. So let me show you how to make your workouts more effective, manageable, and dare I say, enjoyable, which is why my company is called Joyfully Fit Transformations. What a concept to get a transformation that's joyful. Ooh, let's go ahead and dive in. So, very first thing we're going to talk about is myth number one, which is you've got to go all out every workout to see results. Here's the reality of that. Overexertion is going to lead to burnout 9 times out of 10. In fact, I would even say 99 times out of 100, not better results, okay? And fat loss is going to come from consistency, not the extremes. So you don't need to work out to the point of exhaustion or vomiting or feeling awful just to see results, okay? So here's what we're going to talk about is what's known as rating of perceived exertion, also known as RPE. This is something that I've used with my clients for right about 20 years now, and it works really well. So RPE, rating of perceived exertion, is a simple 1 to 10 scale to measure workout intensity, with how I describe it as 1 basically being like you're a couch potato, you're sitting on the couch, and 10 being your max effort. But more so, I kind of describe 10 kind of like where you're on the ground, you need an ambulance to come peel you off the floor, or an EMT. It's an awful experience. We don't want to get you to a 10, okay? So what I want you to do is to think back about some of the workouts and analyze, was I at more of a 10 when I dreaded that workout and somebody was trying to convince me that this was normal? Most likely that's the case. So here's the thing. Why does this matter? Well, overexertion obviously is going to lead to burnout, to dread, potential energy, not sustainable fat loss. It's going to lead to you finding reasons to not follow through on that workout when it sucks that bad, okay? What I'm going to recommend is that you aim for an RPE of anywhere from a 6 to an 8. 8's a little bit on the high side, 7's about that sweet spot, but 8 is a really good way to get some really great results, okay? This is where you're going to be challenged, but you're not going to be completely drained. Again, what a concept. So the whole thing is, if you cannot function for the rest of your day after your workout, you're doing too much. It's just that simple. Hear this from a fitness coach of dang near 20 years, okay? Now, the second part that I'm going to talk to you about is workouts need to be long to be effective. That's one of the big myths that I hear, is that, like, is this going to be long enough? Especially when people join my 21-day fat loss kickstart program, they are shocked that the workouts are about 20 to 25 minutes. And the first question that I hear is, I really want good results, Lance. Is this going to be long enough? I'm really worried about that. Well, I get it. You've probably worked with trainers and coaches, weight loss programs, diets, where you've heard, if you don't go big, go home. And if it's not good enough, then you're probably not working out hard enough, all of that stuff. Well, again, we're going to kind of cut through some of that nonsense here in just a minute. But here's the reality. Short, focused workouts can deliver the same, if not better. I'm going to go for better results, especially when you pair it with the right things. The right things are progressive overload and time under tension. I'm going to explain both of those. So small, consistent efforts are going to increase your effort over time, which is again where we gradually make this a little bit more and more challenging. And this is going to be the key to building strength and burning fat, not just diving into the deep end right off the bat. So we want to do slow incremental increases. And why this works is that sustainable improvements are going to build lean muscle, which boosts your metabolism and aids fat loss. Again, here's the thing. If you focus on adding 1 to 2 pounds to your weight each week, this is making it harder on you so that your body is forced to recruit more muscle fiber, thusly increases muscle on your body, thusly again improves your overall metabolism. Your metabolism is just simply a long $5 word that means how many calories you're burning at rest and when you are active. So your metabolism is also known as your total daily energy expenditure, which just simply means how much am I burning at rest and my activity put together. That's it. So you can either use progressive overload, which is making it harder on yourself each week through adding 1 to 2 pounds on your weights each week, or doing 1 to 2 more reps per set, or you can even increase the time under tension, which is slowing down the tempo. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. So the idea here is that you want to actually think of it kind of like upgrading your coffee maker, okay? You don't buy the fanciest one right away, especially if you're not some sort of coffee connoisseur. You basically start with a small improvement that makes life a little bit better, and should you need more, you begin adding more. Maybe that's a little bit of a labor metaphor, but it was what I came up with, and it just seems to work. Put another way is that, again, if you're trying to, because this seems that most people that are watching my program are parents. And the way that I normally kind of say this to my clients is, if you were to teach your kids, or if your kid, let's put it this way, if your kids are getting into school and they are in, let's say, first, second, third grade, and they're thinking about high school calculus, this is definitely the premise of what most people do when they're trying to get in shape. They see what a fitness coach is doing or their favorite fit Instagram model is doing, and then they dive in. Well, that's what they're doing, and that's how they look. I want to look like that. This is the same premise of your kid being ready to go into third grade and going, Dad, how do I get ready for calculus? I'm so nervous, and I see that if I want to really be good in school, I've got to learn calculus. And you're going to be like, well, calculus is a few years away, so let's just focus on getting really good at addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Okay? Hopefully that one lands a little bit better than the coffee one. I do my best here. So with that being said, this takes us into the next part. So we've got progressive overload. The next part is time under tension. By the way, if you see me looking over this way quite a bit, I'm checking my notes so that I don't get too long-winded. So nevertheless, time under tension. So here is the big point here, is that quality over quantity really is important. And I see so many people in the gyms where they're doing stuff like this and swinging weight, or they're doing one of these and they're like, I don't get why my biceps aren't growing. I don't get why my physique isn't changing. I'm losing a little bit of weight, but I still just look like a smaller version of how I looked before. Well, this is because you're not necessarily focusing on enough time under tension or a good tempo where the muscles that you're trying to activate are actually doing the work. So what happens is, if you start swinging that weight, not using a good tempo where you're controlling it, you're going to recruit not more muscle fibers in the area that you're trying to work. You're going to recruit entire muscle groups. So this is why we used to kind of make jokes about when some of the gym rats, the bros that would come into the gym, it would be bicep day, and we would kind of make a joke of like, oh, I see you're working your back and your core today, and they're working their arms. Why would we say that? Well, because they're doing one of these things, and they're doing this, and they're lifting easily 40 to 50% heavier weight than what they should for the size of the muscle that they've got. And so the point is that how you perform each repetition matters so much more than how many you do. Now, yes, doing more repetitions, if you're controlling the weight, using time under tension, that does lead to progressive overload. But if you don't handle your time under tension and tempo first, it's all moot. It doesn't even matter. So the amount of time that your muscles are under strain during that set or under tension is known as time under tension. But if you just think about it as, what is my tempo? Am I going slowly enough that I'm controlling the weight, or am I having to use momentum to get that weight up? Or you can think of a bench press or a squat, doesn't matter. Now, I'm not telling you, like, I really teach my clients to use an explosive, more of like an explosive mindset when we're focusing on the concentric part, which is the part where it's hardest. That's where you're lifting the weight. The lowering portion of that, the lowering in the squat, the lowering of a row, doesn't matter. That's the eccentric, which is going to be the part where we want to go slower. So you want to explode on the concentric and slow on the eccentric. And this is going to do really well for you. Now, how slow should you go? Really about 1 Mississippi on the way down, just enough where you're controlling it, not letting it slam down. We've all seen that in the gym, right? Where people are like, boom, they push it up, or they struggle up and then they bounce it on the chest. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Not only are you going to set yourself up for a potential injury, you're not going to be recruiting the muscle fiber that you're hoping to. And if you're in the gym doing the work, you may as well do the work in the right way so that you get the outcomes that you're hoping for, right? So slower reps create much more muscle engagement. And this is going to boost strength and increase your fat burning potential. It's also going to reduce the need for excessively long workouts. I can assure you, if you're doing explosive on the way up, not that everybody should be doing curls, but just something you could see in the video, and you're controlling it on the way down, in 2 to 3 sets, you're gonna start noticing it quite a bit. You're gonna notice more vascularity. You're gonna know, which is again the veins popping out, all that stuff. You're gonna notice that you start feeling more exhausted, not in a bad way, but you're tapping into your energy source a little bit quicker, and there's no need for you to do hour-long workouts. In fact, my doing the short style workouts, my workouts are typically 20 to 30 minutes for clients. HIIT circuit, that sort of thing. If they're doing strength and hypertrophy, they're really about 40 minutes, 45 at the maximum. Now, again, if somebody's talking and kind of goofing off, it might be a little bit longer, but it's not necessary. That's the whole thing. So you want to perform right about a 1 second lower on the eccentric part, and that's going to be the best for you. So you want to focus on controlled movement rather than rushing through your set too. The other thing that I want to keep you in mind of is that you're not trying to be a speed demon. This is about getting the most out of every single rep. It's not about trying to just slam everything around and manhandle your way through this. This is about controlling the weight in a way where you are recruiting more muscle fibers, gaining more strength, and improving the metabolism for fat loss. And that's the beautiful thing about this, okay? So let's see, number 4 here. Next part is pertaining to workout duration and enjoyment. I know that those things seem like they're oxymorons, but I assure you they're not. So the myth is you've got to do workouts that you hate because they're better for you, right? I've heard that. I've seen trainers say that. I've seen coaches say that, like, oh, no. You got to do this. Otherwise, you're not going to see the results you want. I want you to know that some of my best clients over the years have worked out literally never more than 3 times a week for 25 minutes a session. And one client lost 135 pounds in right about 12 months. Yes, it's a lot of weight. I'm not promising that everybody's going to do that, but he was on it. His nutrition was dialed in. His workouts were amazing. And we didn't have to do long workouts. And it worked really, really well. So the best workout is the one that you can stick with, all right? Find something that you enjoy and that you can see yourself doing regularly long-term. Stop viewing weight loss and fitness as something that is just going to get you out of your bad position so you can go right back to your old crappy lifestyle. That crappy lifestyle where you ate anything, didn't care, didn't exercise, didn't move enough, you did the constant screen sucking, as it's called, where you just sit there staring at your computer, at your phone, or your TV. That is what led you to where you are now or where you didn't want to be. We don't want to go back there. So if we start treating this like a long-term, permanent lifestyle, that's where the sweet spot is. That's how I live as a fitness coach, so that I'm not constantly chasing weight loss or, undulating and switching up everything all the time, okay? So, and this means that it's more sustainable for my lifestyle. So the best workout is the one that you can stick with long-term. Now, shorter focused workouts, 20 to 35 minutes, can be just as effective as longer sessions. So HIIT is going to be for shorter sessions, higher intensity, strength training for longer but more manageable effort. So what I normally teach people is like, if you hate doing HIIT style, you don't need to do it. But if you've got short amount of time and you're wanting to get great workouts, great results, HIIT might be one of the best options for you, and you can just make it more manageable by maybe not doing so many plyometrics where you're jumping and doing burpees and all that. If you hate burpees, don't put them in your workout. If you hate that stuff and it causes you to feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to throw up doing this, I get dizzy, don't do it. It's just that simple. Let's replace it with something else that fits and feels better to you so that you're not dreading the workouts as much. I'm not telling you you're going to look forward to every workout that you do, by the way. If you're looking to feel motivated before every workout, you're probably going to be sitting a long time. There's plenty of times I've been working out for 24 years now, and there are plenty of times where I just don't feel like doing it. I don't want to do it. But if you've watched my other videos on pain versus pleasure and anchoring and all of this, chances are is if you're dreading the workout and it's not, some god-awful long grueling workout and you just don't want to be active, it's because you're more focused on the initial immediate pain and instant gratification rather than thinking of long term when you do this over time, what it's going to lead to. Okay. So you want to focus not on the immediate, but focus on the long term. Then you start seeing the workouts that I'm doing are casting a vote towards the lifestyle that I really know is going to make me feel better about myself. And that helps you so that you do feel motivated to get up and do that workout. Not that you're wanting to do it, but it starts to feel like you're wanting to because you know that feeling after the workout is done is, I'm closer. I'm closer than where I was, and I'm going to reach my goal if I stay consistent. And if you're constantly just putting out a 10 intensity out of that 1 to 10 RPE that I talked about, you're going to dread this and find excuses on not following through. But if you're around that 6 to an 8, you're going to find yourself almost looking forward to them because well, it's only going to take 25 to 30 minutes. It'll be over, and I'm going to feel so much more accomplished, and I'm going to know that I'm moving the needle towards the lifestyle that makes me feel my best. Is this making sense? Go ahead and drop me a comment in the comments below. Let me know. Have you ever been through this where you either dread doing your workout because it's so grueling, or you dread doing your workout because maybe you're not focused enough on the long-term effects and outcomes? Maybe you're more focused on the initial pain, immediate pain that you get out of working out. And that's going to be where you want to have the quickest mindset shift so you can start focusing consistently on working out 2, 3, 4 times a week, whatever that might be, to move that needle towards your goals. But I assure you, if you compare your life of not working out with, let's say you compare your life of I work out but I'm in shape versus I don't work out. I watch all the TV shows that I want to eat everything that I want to, but I'm not in shape. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I feel. I don't have energy. No sex drive. I avoid photos. I avoid all these things. I'm never present with my spouse. It's kind of an easy no-brainer when you think about it like that. If you've got short, effective workouts that you don't dread because they're so grueling and make you feel like you're going to, spew every time that you're in there, okay? So let's see. What did I miss here? Don't need that. So one of the other things that I teach is people are always like, what is the best kind of workout? Well, what I teach is the same thing because again, I grew up as an academic. So for me, everything has to make sense under that kind of premise. Again, when we're talking about science and mathematics, it's going to be based on the observation method. It's going to be based on testing, retesting, confirming, etc. And if something is not repeatable, then it's not something that's really scientific. It should be repeatable, number one, so that you're able to see that you can get the effective methods over and over done. But more than anything pertaining to this is that what I teach is that the best workout is not only the one that you can do, but like if people are like, well, I don't want to do any of them, then that's where I teach the next scientific, this is borrowed from science, which is LOA, which is the least objectionable activity. So what that means is that you're just going to choose the workout style that you don't dread or that you dread the least because you know that you want to get in shape. You know you want to feel better. You know you want to actually wear clothes that, if you're a guy, that are more GQ and less, let's say a little bit less of the, I went through Goodwill to do this because I don't have, or, the look of I've got to wear sweats and I've got to wear oversized jeans and hoodies and baggy clothes and so on and so forth. Okay. So it's better to do something consistently than go all out sporadically. And this is something that, again, my brother is a jiu-jitsu instructor, and that's one of the things that we've talked about for many, many years. You're going to get those guys that come in, or girls, depending on which gym you're at, which jiu-jitsu camp, and they come in and they're like, I'm all about this. I'm going hard. And the first thing that they do is they like gas themselves out on the very first workout or the very first training session. And, they're trying to tap people. They're trying to do all of this different stuff. They're sweating like crazy. They're exhausted. They feel good about what they did, but now they're so sore over the next 2, 3, 4 days, they don't want to come back until the next week, if they come back at all. And this is how most people come towards fitness, is they hit that all or nothing and they peak out before they've ever even built the habit. What you need to know is that in the beginning, you're going to make more of what is known as purposeful, let's say purposeful intensity or purposeful intentions, whereas later it can be more of passive intensity and intentions. What does that mean? Is in the beginning, you've got to work at it to even do the things that are not built up as a habit. Once you do them long enough and you practice, now it becomes habitual, and now it becomes passive practice instead of purposeful practice. And again, that intentional purposeful practice is necessary, but if your purposeful practice is so intense that you don't want to show up to the second, third, or fourth time that you're supposed to work out or do your jiu-jitsu session, you're going to miss out on the very practice sessions that lead to your better lifestyle, that improvement, so that you're able to do this more passively. Is this making sense how I'm wording this? Let me know, and I can try and reword it too, but I'm hoping this is making sense. So you don't have to suffer through burpees if you hate them. You don't have to suffer through that crap. Find something that you actually like and that you can stick with. That is the number one point with this. So it doesn't matter what kind of workouts that you're doing, as long as if you're focused on fat loss, number one, I'm going to recommend that you're doing something that's got resistance training in it. So if you're talking about, like, again, this is going to offend people, but if you are looking to lose weight and keep it off, and you are doing that through Zumba classes and dance sessions. Now, if you're a dancer, great, because you're going to put a lot of intention towards that, and you're going to be eating for your dance activities. Whereas if you're trying to do it just through Zumba and all of this, and again, I've done this for years. I've had so many clients go, I can't come in today to the session. I twisted my ankle doing Zumba. Okay? Well, why are you doing Zumba? Well, because I don't really like lifting weights and I just want to do something fun. And I'm like, well, that's great, but are you willing to get less results and to require a group activity so that you can lose weight? Or would you rather learn how to do it where you can work out anywhere, whether you travel, whether you're at home, a gym, hotel gym, body weight workouts, whatever? And are you okay being a smaller shape or a smaller version of yourself, but still the same shape that you don't care for? I'm not, and neither are my clients. Now, again, the other thing to keep in mind is that when you build muscle, that muscle is so much more thermogenic, meaning that it is, or metabolically active is probably the better way to say this, which means that muscle is going to use or expend more calories to maintain it than fat does. And if you are not putting on enough muscle because you're doing all Zumba classes and all those bouncy stability balls and the swinging stuff where you look like Peter Pan and all this, you're not going to be building the muscle to accelerate the metabolism the way that I do with my clients in the Joyfully Fit 365 program. It's called Joyfully Fit 365 because 365 days a year, you are fit and you did it joyfully. What a concept. But the thing is that there are things that are just kind of non-negotiable in my program. And if you're trying to avoid resistance training so that you can do trapeze in the gym, I'm going to go ahead and call shenanigans and say, that's not going to be sustainable for you, because you're not going to take that trapeze with you when you go on vacation or when your daughter gets married and you've got to travel across the state or whatever it is. So, but you can take my body weight workouts and you can take the structure that I teach you, which is how you can build your own workouts anywhere on the planet. Again, what a concept. The point is that when you're building enough muscle, you're going to accelerate your metabolism, thusly meaning more food. If you're like me, you care about that. Number two, you're going to see more fat loss and it's going to be more sustainable. Okay. I'll just drop it there. We'll go ahead and digress for the moment, but that's an area that I could just really go on. Okay, now the last part of this is that brutal workouts aren't necessary. So here's the myth. If you're not drenched in sweat or if you're not sore, it just didn't count. So many clients will say to me, like, I noticed that I'm not getting sore on some of my workouts, so I just went ahead and did more. Why? Well, because if you're sore, I like that feeling. It tells me that I've done enough. Okay, well, that's not based in science. Oh, it's not? No. So here's the thing. Effective workouts are not about how wrecked you feel afterwards or how sore. They're about building strength, improving endurance, and staying consistent. Progressive overload doesn't always lead to or lend to soreness. And I have worked with so many clients over the years where we get killer workouts, progressive overload, and they're maybe a little sore, but they're not severe. Why? Because we're not doing crazy amounts of volume. And I'm not having them do like, all right, we're going to do a bench press followed by flies. Then you're going to do, burpee push-ups with claps and all this. And then when you're done with that, you're going to hold a press and you're going to screw all that. If that's what's making you sore, you're doing way more than what's necessary. I assure you. Sorry about the voice. I'm getting passionate, getting excited. This is what happens. So, okay. Next part is, let's see. Yeah, so the main thing with this is that the no pain, no gain mentality leads to burnouts. It's also a form of all or nothing. And again, these are psychological, we'll call them a fallacy, but the no pain, no gain or go big, go home fallacies, these things keep people trapped forever. I've worked with so many clients where they're just like, Lance, you don't get it, man. I was raised that if I can't bring my best, don't do it at all. And I'm like, okay, well, what would you say if your kid didn't get enough sleep the night before and they tell you, Dad, Mom, I can't do my homework today because I didn't get enough sleep. I can just tell you, I don't have my all today. So I think I'm going to skip my homework. You're cool with that, Mom, Dad, right? You'd be like, no, you might get an A minus instead of an A or a B instead of an A, but you're going to do your homework. Why? Because it's putting in the steps that lead to that kid knowing how to pass the test, which leads to them being able to apply these things in real life. Same premise as fitness. And the cool thing about this is that what I teach in my programs is that these universal principles on how you raise your kid, how you got successful in your business or your career, those same things can be extrapolated and utilized in fitness because they're universal principles. They're not just success just for careers. No, if you look at it, you can apply them the same way. All right, let's see. Excessively high intensity doesn't guarantee faster fat loss as well. It just increases stress and cortisol, which is why so many people who go to Orange Theory, F45, like 5-6 days a week, and they're not seeing results, it's because they've made fat loss harder because they are absolutely increasing cortisol. Now, there's several other things too, but it'll turn into a longer video. The thing is that sustainability beats quick fix approaches every time. So what I want you to do is to analyze, is what I'm doing or what I've tried to do in the past more of a quick fix, meaning that it's not sustainable and I dread it more than I actually look forward to the results? If so, there's your answer. So now, if you're wondering why you're stuck and what's actually holding you back, I want you to go ahead and take my weight loss unblocker quiz. It's going to help you to identify which traps you're falling into and how to get unstuck without all the crazy workouts or the strict diets. And I'm going to show you this too. Let me pull this up here. Here we go. So this is what you're going to see here. And if you go to this, it's going to you'll just hit start quiz. And it's just going to take you through a couple things. Hit start quiz and you'll see like this. What are your health and fitness goals? You've got several different ones. We'll just say this. It's going to ask you, what are you having the biggest challenge with? So you may know like, oh, I suck with sticking with diet. Click that. Or, oh man, I've got no problems with my diet, but consistency and workout, awful. Whatever this is, go ahead and click it, and it's going to take you to that next one to ask you the next question to help you so that you can finally get unstuck. It's totally free. It takes about 60 seconds, and it is going to help you. Not only are you going to find out which of the 6 weight loss traps are keeping you stuck, you're actually going to get some personalized solutions and a weight loss report to help you get unstuck. And again, this is coming from nearly 20 years of fat loss coaching experience. So don't miss out on that. And the last thing is that I want you to know that you need to remember you don't have to kill yourself in the gym or spend hours working out to lose fat and get in shape. That's the great news. It's about finding what works for your body, your life, your goals, and not just now, but long term. And if you think to yourself, like again, just as an example, oh yeah, Lance, I just go on keto and I just dropped my weight. Okay, my question is for you: if keto works so well, or cutting out carbs, or whatever, because I consider that extreme, if cutting on an entire food group like carbs works so well, why are you not still doing it? The answer that I normally get is, well, I was craving bread and I went back to normal. My notion is if you are thinking about what you're on versus normal, that means what you're doing is not normal. What I teach is normal. I have pizza, I have cereal, I have a glass of wine if I want to. I don't work out for hours on end. I work out usually about 4 to 5 days a week. And that's because I have different goals, not just fat loss. I would like to gain some strength and increase some muscle size. You may not be there. And if that's the case, you get to work out even less than I do. So that's the cool thing. So what I want to know is, what is one workout myth that you believed before that you're finally ready to leave behind? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. And again, don't forget, you can either drop the word quiz in the comments below and I'll send you the link, or you can go ahead and click the link in the description box. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything. I will answer every single one that I see. I think that's everything. So thank you guys so much.